All right, today we're doing a concept of illustrating how to multiply integers. So you need a writing utensil, that means something to write with. So I'm gonna use a pen, you can use a pencil, you can use whatever. We need to cut out this guy in the corner. Okay, there is a back side to him, so make sure that you aren't cutting that off. You should be pretty good with it though. Okay. There we go, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Okay? Alright, we're going to set him aside though. Or her. I guess it could be a guy with a mullet or long hair, or could be a girl. Who knows? Okay. For building background, we're going to show 3 times 4 in as many ways as we can think of. So I can do 3.4, 3 times 4. I can do 4 times 3, 4, 3, 4 times 3. This means 3 groups of 4, so I could have 4 plus 4 plus 4. And this would be 4 groups of 3, so 3, 2, 3, 4. Either way, all of our answers should be 12. I know that I could have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 4 rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, or I could have like a group, 3 groups, and each group has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could have 4 groups, and they all have 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you can think of any more ways, please write those down. All right, we're going to go on to the back page. We're going to set this sideways so it's looking like this. Okay. Mine doesn't quite zoom out all the way, so I'll have to move it around. Hopefully I'll remember that. Okay, so 2 times 3. Okay. We're going to start with our positive side here. And because this is 2 is positive, that means we're going to be looking at the positive direction. And 3 is positive, which means we're going to go in that positive direction. Okay? So I'm going to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, remember those are tick marks. This is a number line. Number lines go on forever and ever. That's why we have arrows. Okay, so this guy's going to start at 0. This girl, whoever this is 0. And we're going 2 groups, and we're going to move that 3 times, positive directions. We're going to do 2 jumps, 1, 2. So now he's at -2. Okay, and that was 1 time. We need to do this 3 times. Okay, so I'm going to go again. 1, 2. So that is my second time. And now he's going this direction because we're going in our positive direction 2 more times. 1, 2. And that is our 3rd time. So that's our final answer, is going to be 6. Okay, if we did this as repeated addition, I would have 2 3 times. So 2 plus 2 plus 2. And 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. Okay, and if I think about it as the opposites, there is no opposite signs here, so I can just think of it as 2 times 3, which we've always thought of that way. So 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now we have 2 times -3. So 2 means I'm still going to start on that positive side. It's the side with the plus on the top. But negative means I'm going to be going in that negative direction to the left. Okay, so this time I'm actually going to put 0 on the right side. And we're going to go down -1, -2. Okay, I'm going to start at 0. And I'm making 3 jumps of 2, but they're negative, so I'm going to the left. So I'm going to go left 1, 2. So now our guy is right there. That's our first group, we need to do that 3 times. So that's 1. So going down 1, 2. That's now the second group. And down 1, 2. That is now the third group. So our answer is going to be -6. So even though our guy was facing forward, or our girl was facing forward, she was walking backwards, or he was walking backwards. Okay? They were walking backwards because we were going negative. So if I walk backwards, I end up at the -6. Okay, repeated addition means I have 2 -3 times, which means I would subtract. So I could do, or I could have -3 2 times. So I could do -3 plus -3. Negative plus a negative, I know I'm going to get a negative, and I add 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, or I could have started at 0, and I'm subtracting 2 because that negative really means minus. But I'm going to do 2 3 times. So -2, -2, -2, which is really what we did here. I went backwards 1, 2, backwards 1, 2, backwards 1, 2. I still get -6. Okay, and this one, if I think about it as an opposite sign, that negative here is going to be an opposite. So I'm going to say 2 times -3. It's the same thing as I have a 2 times 3 in parentheses. And this negative, or this opposite sign, comes out on the front. So this is going to be the opposite of 6. And the opposite of 6 is -6. All right, here we go with the next one. Next one, I have -2 times 3. So I'm going to start on the negative side this time. So I actually have to flip this person over. See, I'm on the negative side now. But I'm going to be going in the positive direction. But now since she's on the negative side, her positive direction is to move to the left because that's her forward now. Okay, so again, I'm going to have 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. So she's starting at 0, and she's going to go 3 groups to the left because that's positive for her because she's on her negative side. So that would go over 1, 2. That's her first time. 1, 2. That's their second time. 1, 2. That's his third time. I don't know if this is a boy or a girl or a he, she, they. Who knows? Okay, so we have -6 as our final answer again. So if I was going to show that here, I could do -2 3 times with addition. So -2, that's 1, 2, 3. And 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, and they're all negative, so my answer will be negative when I add. Okay, the other way to do this is I could start at 0, and I go backwards 3 2 times. So backwards 3, backwards 3. Okay, and I can rewrite that as adding the opposite if I need to, or I can just think 0 minus 3 would be 1, 2, 3, -3, minus 3, 1, 2, 3 would be -6. Again, with opposites, if I had -2 times 3, I would think about that as the opposite, and I just put parentheses around the numbers, 2 times 3. And 2 times 3 is 6, so I have the opposite of 6, and the opposite of a positive 6 is a -6. Okay, last one. This time I have a -2 times a -3. So she's going to be on her negative side, or he, or they, or z. Okay? And they're going in the negative direction. So since they're walking backwards, they're going to be going to the right. Because if they're facing this way, backwards would be this way. So 0 is actually going to be on this side, because we're going to be walking backwards on our negative side. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 3 groups of 2. So I'm in the negative direction, meaning I'm facing backwards, but I'm going to also be walking backwards. So facing backwards and walking backwards actually means I'm going to be going towards that positive direction. So 1, 2, that's my first group. 1, 2, that's my second group. 1, 2, that's my third group. Okay, so I do end up at +6. Which seems kind of goofy, but if I walk backwards, if I'm facing backwards and I walk backwards, that's the same thing as if I'm positive and walking positive. It's just this person's facing forward and this person's facing backwards, but they're moving in the same directions. If I think about this as repeated addition, I'd have -2, -3 times. So I'd start at 0. I'm going to subtract -2, subtract -2. Okay, and that would be the same thing as 0 if I change that subtracting to adding. What's the opposite of -2? +2. Opposite of -2, +2. So 0, oh, I missed one. I only did that 2 times, sorry. Okay, so then plus, what's the opposite of -2? +2. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 is +6. Or same thing with -3. I'm going to be taking it away because of that -2. So 0 minus -3 minus -3. This time I only want 2. So if I change that to adding the opposite, that'd be 0. Change that subtracting to adding. Opposite of -3, +3. Change that subtracting to adding. Opposite of -3, +3. 0 plus 3 plus 3 would be 6. Okay, now if I think about this with opposite signs, I have -2 times -3. So I'm going to put that 2 and 3 in parentheses. 2 times 3. But now I have an opposite sign here. And I have one more opposite sign, so I need to put that in parentheses. So 2 times 3 is 6. But I have an opposite sign for the 2, and I have an opposite sign for the 3. So we work our way out. So what's the opposite of 6? The opposite of 6 is a -6. But now I have the opposite of -6, and the opposite of a negative is a positive. Okay, so I can think of these as two opposite signs. And so if I do 2 times 3, I get 6. Opposite would be -6. Opposite is +6. Here, I would do 2 times 3 is 6, and I only have one opposite, so I get -6. All right, and that is your concept.